Hello friends, this is Nirmal here for Technique, and in this video we'll do the detailed and full review of the Moto G5 Plus. So the Moto G5 Plus is the latest phone from Moto in the G series and also the successor of the Moto G4 Plus. So the G4 Plus had set a benchmark in the camera department with a 16 megapixel shooter, and this is one of the really good cameras in the sub 15k price point. Now with the G5 Plus, Motorola has also improved the camera aspect. Now it comes with a 12 megapixel sensor with f-stop 1.7 and quite a lot of improvements, including the metallic construction design has been changed. So a whole lot of features coming in the Moto G5 Plus. So does the Moto G5 Plus makes a great value for money device out there? Let's find out in this detailed review. So let's get started with the review with the design and build quality. So design is one of the important aspects about this device, because when you look at the Moto G4 Plus, it has a plastic finishing and the design was not that great. But with G5 Plus, Motorola has worked out in the design elements, and you can see the front panel has a really good looking design with metallic construction. It has an aluminum chassis, the Moto logo at the center. The camera unit is a circular ring. It has a slight projection, and you also have dual tone dual LED flash. It has a 12 megapixel camera with f-stop 1.7, and we also have the plastic finishing on the top and also the sides. On the front panel we have this front firing speakers, the front 5 megapixel camera, the 5.2 inch full HD display, and also the fingerprint scanner. So unlike the fingerprint scanner on the G4 Plus, which was kind of awkward looking, now we have a recessed fingerprint scanner, and this works well with the design aspect of this device and actually feels quite good. So the Moto G5 Plus is definitely a great improvement over the G4 Plus in terms of the design and build quality. Now we don't have much of plastic finishing. It's all metallic aluminum chassis, looks really good. Now the Moto G5 Plus also feels quite compact because it has moved away from 5.5 inches to 5.2 inches. So that means the device is a bit more compact to use. So Moto G5 Plus also has chrome finishing on the edges, and it gives a premium finishing to the device. So overall the design and build quality has improved and definitely feels really great on the G5 Plus. Now let's talk about the display. So this display has a 5.2 inch panel. It's an IPS LCD panel with full HD resolution, that's 1080p resolution, 1920 by 1080p resolution, and it actually feels quite good. The colors of vivid sharpness levels are quite good. The touch response also feels quite good. The brightness levels are kind of acceptable, and outdoor visibility is also really good. And there is also Corning Gorilla Glass protection on the display that makes it one of the good aspects about the phone. Next up, let's talk about the software. So whenever we talk about Moto phones, one of the important aspects is the software. So here we have Android 7.0, that's the latest version, and this is a plain stock UI. That's again an added feature for all the Moto phones. You can see the Moto UI, it's a stock UI, there's no customization whatsoever, and it feels quite good as well. We have the stock UI, and if you go to the settings panel, you can see it's again the same stock UI you get to see on this device, and no additional options are included. The plain UI you get, and it feels quite good to use, because for a person who loves stock experience, this is one of the really good devices out there. You can also see the notification center and quick toggles. They are exactly the same what you see on a Google Android smartphone. So that's the software. It feels quite good, and you also have the Moto app, which comes with some actions and gestures. So actions include one button nav. One button nav is kind of useful feature because this device comes with on-screen navigation button. So what you can do is you can just turn this on, and you can disable the on-screen buttons, and you can use the fingerprint scanner to navigate and use the multitasking. You can just swipe right or left for multitasking and the back button. So that's kind of useful option. Then there is chop twice for flashlight. You can just chop it twice to get the flashlight on, and there is also quick capture. You can just turn on the quick capture. There is swipe to shrink screen. That means you can have a smaller screen. That's one-handed UI basically, and some other additional features are also included. And there is in the Moto display we have the option for always on display, which shows notification even when the display is turned off. So this is the only addition software available on the Moto G5 Plus, which is from Motorola. Let's all is the stock experience. So that's the software aspect. Now talking about the performance. So this phone comes with the Snapdragon 625 chipset, which is clocked at 2 GHz, and it is coupled with either 3 gigs of RAM or 4 gigs of RAM, and you have 16 and 32 gigs of storage on the two variants. So this phone comes with quite decent hardware. The Snapdragon 625 is a snappy chipset. It may not be the powerful chipset out there, but it does perform pretty well, and one of the most energy efficient chipsets available right now. And in day-to-day tasks, the Moto G5 Plus performed really well. There's hardly any issues, and even the multitasking was pretty well implemented. And you also have additional options like a split screen, which is a Android 7.0 feature. So the performance of this device was really good. Now talking about the gaming experience, again the device performed quite well in terms of the gaming experience, and it performed pretty well when we tried heavy graphic rich games, and barring a few frame skips, the performance was quite good. So we also done a detailed gaming test of this device. You can also check out that video for more details. Now this phone comes with dual SIM cards, 4G LTE and VoLTE support, and there are some minor issues with VoLTE support, and you can see our video which is available in the description of this video, where we have shown how to fix the VoLTE issue. So that is the performance aspect. Now one of the disappointing aspect about this device is that the 3GB RAM variant, which is priced 15,000, just comes with 16GB storage, and the top end variant comes with just 32GB storage. It should have been 32 and 64, but Lenovo has included only 16GB storage. Now talking about the fingerprint scanner experience, the fingerprint scanner works pretty well, and it unlocks the device in really good time. It's really fast fingerprint scanner, and it can also use the fingerprint scanner to turn off the display. So the fingerprint scanner experience is really good on this device. Now talking about the call quality, again the call quality was really good, no issues there. And the speaker performance, we have the front firing speakers which is located on the top panel, and the speaker performance was really good. And since it has a front firing speakers, there is no obstruction from the speakers, so that's one good thing about this device. So that was the performance aspect of this phone. Now let's talk about the camera. So camera is one of the most important aspect about the Moto G5 Plus, especially after the Moto G4 Plus coming out with a really good camera. Now we have a changed optics here. We have a 12 megapixel sensor with a dual pixel autofocus. There is no laser autofocus. Instead, Moto calls it as a dual pixel autofocus, and we have dual tone dual LED flash. This is f-stop 1.7. That's a really good aperture. That means you can have larger aperture and more light coming into the camera when take photos. And on the front panel we have a 5 megapixel camera. It's the same, almost similar experience what we have seen on the Moto G4 Plus. Now looking at the camera interface, again the same camera you have seen on the Moto devices. On the top we have some options, some basic options are included, no modes or additional options included, just the professional mode and some basic features included. So if you're looking for a highly camera centric UI, then this is not the device, because you need to install third-party apps. It's a pretty simple and basic UI, but it's come with some options like the 4K recording and also some good selfie experience. Now talking about the camera samples, so this is one area a lot of our viewers might be very much interested, and the camera performance of this device was quite good. In daylight conditions it was quite good. The sharpness levels and the color quality was acceptable. At times it did have this yellowish tint to the photos, and the saturation values were slightly on the higher side, but nevertheless it did produce some really good shots in daylight conditions, and the close-up shots also were quite good with a dual pixel autofocus. But one of the things we missed is the laser autofocus, which is quite fast. Now it does not come with laser autofocus, so it does take some time, additional time when compared to the Moto G4 Plus when focusing close-up objects, but nevertheless it did a good job overall in terms of the camera performance. Now one of the important aspects about this device is the f-stop 1.7 aperture, and because of this the low light experience was kind of good, and in low light conditions the camera sensor allows additional light to come in, and that makes the photos a bit more brighter than other cameras in this price segment. But at the same time what happens is because of the brighter images and more light coming in, you could also see some noise creeping in the low light condition photos, and kind of acceptable level, but still we wouldn't say this is the best low light experience we have seen in this price segment. So overall the camera did impress us, but a lot of users might be interested in knowing, is it the best camera? We wouldn't say this is the best camera out there, because it definitely is a good camera, but it definitely is not the best camera in our opinion. There are a lot of other camera smartphones like the Honor 6X, the Coolpad Cool One, even the Nubia Z11 Mini S, which we reviewed recently, has a really good camera. So camera definitely is one of the good aspects about this device. Now talking about the selfie experience, again it's a quite good selfie experience. The 5 megapixel shooter produces some decent selfies, and there is also screen flash included on this device. Now finally talking about the battery. So this phone comes with a 3000 mAh battery and there is a turbocharging included. And we tested the battery performance on this device and found that the battery performance was quite good. When we tested the battery, we got almost 1 day and 11 hours of battery life, and the screen on time was close to 6 hours, almost 5.5 hours. That's quite good battery capacity and performance, and the Snapdragon 625 is one of the good aspects about this device when you compare other devices in this price segment. That's an energy efficient chipset. So the battery performance won't disappoint you, and if you're a moderate user, you can get to almost 1.5 day of usage, which almost 5 to 6 hours screen on time. So that was the battery performance. Now summing up. So this device is coming in two variants, the 15,000 variant, which comes with 3GB RAM and 16GB storage, and the top end variant, which is priced 17,000, which comes with 4GB RAM and 32GB storage. Now talking about the pros of this device. So the pros of the device include really good design and build quality. Display also feels quite good. Excellent software experience. The cameras are improved and good cameras, and also the battery performance looks really good with turbocharging. Now coming to the cons of this device. First is low storage in the base variant. That's not acceptable because a lot of devices have moved to 32 and 64GB in the sub 15K price point. So 16GB storage is not acceptable at this price point. Secondly, the missing compass sensor. So not a major issue though, but then still we would say a compass sensor is needed for navigation, so that is missing on this device. And thirdly, the pricing could have been slightly more competitive because 15,000 and 17,000 pricing is slightly on the high side, especially considering that it comes with only 16GB storage. So the Moto G5 Plus definitely is a great overall package with good software, good cameras, design is also good. But if you can live with some of the shortcomings of this device, this is definitely a good device considering that you get the latest update, and also future updates are promised by the company. So that was the detailed review of the Moto G5 Plus. Hope this video was useful, and if you plan to buy this device, it is available on Flipkart for 15,000 and 17,000. We have the links available in the description of this video. You can use our link and buy this device, and that helps our channel. So that's all guys. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you in our next video. Have a great day.